A wise man once said, whatever doesn't kill you could still be completely unnecessary and counterproductive and leave you a little bit crippled for life. Sounds like something a wise man would say. Oh, welcome. Hey, I'm Dan Adams. I'm here to give you fitness tips and to make you a little bit smarter, hopefully. I can only raise people to the level of intelligence that I am at. I cannot raise you higher. Which admittedly, that's not real high. But I would say it's still a little bit higher than most, just because I spend so much time reading and studying and trying to understand the world around me, not just in terms of fitness, but in terms of mostly our government, our history in general. You know, I was majoring in history in college before I realized what a freaking scam it was, and I quit. Much to the chagrin of my mother. She was so sad about that. But I am a trainer. I quit to become a trainer. So if you want to get big, actually, that's not even true. If you just want to get in good shape, I am not here to make people as big as possible. I know that's what most men would like. They just want to get as big as possible, but big is, it's relative. You see these guys on social media, they just look massive. And then you see them in real life, or you see them in like a candid pic where they're not flexing and it's not, a week before their competition and they're just wearing a shirt walking around. They just look like normal guys. In fact, they look kind of fat because that's what you look like when you get as big as possible, but you're not perfectly cut. You just look kind of fat. But anyways, that's a different discussion. We're not here to talk about that. All I'm saying is that I'm not here to help the lunatics who are willing to pledge their life, their fortune, and their sacred honor to get a little bit bigger than the guy next to them and win a trophy. I'm here to help the average person who just wants to move better, feel better, live longer, live better as you're living longer, because quality of life is important. If you're watching this channel, I don't want you to be the person who falls over, breaks a hip, and then lingers and dies over the course of the next year. I want you to keep moving and thriving until the day you die. And then even after that, continue to thrive. Your body will decompose at a slower rate than the average person's because you were in such good shape before you died. That's how that works. So DM me if you want to be better than all the other dead people. So I was at the gym this last weekend, and this girl walks up to me. And at first I thought she was trying to get my number, but turns out she just wanted some fitness advice. I'm kidding. She's married, so I was pretty sure she wasn't hitting on me. But she comes up to me and she asks me for some advice on her workouts. And she says she's trying this new workout program. Her husband used to write workout programs for her. And so she asked me to, take a look at it. This wasn't her husband's. Her husband wasn't programming for her anymore. She was getting these off of the line. On the line. Online. I look at her workout program. I look at the exercises on it, and there's a lot. There's a lot on there. And I ask her, how are you feeling about these? And she says, it feels like a lot. And I say, tell me about that. What do you mean it feels like a lot? She says, I am just so sick. Her exact words were, I am so sick of feeling wrecked after each workout. I'm sick of feeling sore. I'm just tired all the time. Is this too much? Am I doing something wrong? What's going on here? And I said to her, yeah, this is, I wouldn't say you're doing something wrong necessarily. I mean, we're only wrong because you can feel that you don't feel good, but I'm looking at this workout program and yeah, there's way too much here. And then she kind of batted her eyes and said, oh, you understand me so much better than my husband. I'm kidding. There's no women at the gym trying to start things with me. This is an argument that I've been getting with my brother. My freaking brother, he thinks the gym, people just go to the gym to have affairs. Yeah, some people probably do. And yeah, there's a lot of bending and stretching and sweating and tight clothing and messy hair for some people. My experience has been that most people at the gym just don't even make eye contact and don't want to talk to each other. But anyways, this girl, actually, most affairs happen in the workplace, in case you were wondering. Stay on target. Here's the principle I want to teach, and this is what I kind of talk to her. When people ask me for advice, there's always that moment where I have to go, okay, hold on, don't bombard her with information, because I have so much information batting around in my head, because I'm always reading and I'm always trying new things and watching other people talk about it and listening to other, so I got to be careful not to go crazy and overload. This is all I told her. Take this workout program and reduce it by like 70%. So basically only do about 30% of what is prescribed here. No more supersets. She said she was doing supersets. And I said, you don't need to do supersets. That's unnecessary. She said she was working out 4 days a week. And I said, you probably could cut that back to 3. In fact, you easily could cut that back to 3. And here's the thing. Cut it back to 3. You'll feel better. You'll move better. You will get better results. It's not even like you have to sacrifice results to feel better. No, actually, they're one and the same. If you're giving yourself more time to recover and not doing these long, crazy workouts in the gym, you will actually get better results. You will get more, if you're a woman, you'll get more toned. If you're a man, you'll get bigger. You will look better. You will achieve your goals if you're doing the proper amount. But here's the thing. That doesn't sell very well. That's bad marketing. Everything I'm saying right now, this is bad marketing. My marketing team hates me. It's the imaginary team that I've made up in my brain, but they do not like me because I'm a terrible marketer and I'm a terrible salesman. Because I say things like this. You don't need to do a crazy workout to get good results. And I will not prescribe a crazy workout to you or to any of my clients because it's unnecessary. You could get by just fine on 3 exercises. I was about to say 4, but really 3. Why 3? Why 3 specifically? Because legs, back, chest. If you're hitting those 3 areas, sometimes I include the core, the abs, and the core is important. But oftentimes, if you're not wearing a belt and you're not using the machines, you're using free weights, you're engaging your core. You're definitely using your core when you're doing back squats or deadlifts or even overhead presses. You have to be able to flex and stabilize your core if you're going to be doing overhead presses. And that's not to say you should only be doing 3 exercises, but theoretically, you could get a fine workout with just 3 exercises that hit those 3 major muscle groups. My own workouts are a good example of this. I've been doing the Mike Mentzer stuff. I really like Mike Mentzer, and I've been doing his 1 set, 1 heavy set program. It's been great. I've only been doing it for less than a year now. I've probably been doing it for about 8 months. And now I'm in a cut, so I'm not going to be growing anymore. But in the 3 or 4 months where I was bulking and doing the Mentzer method, I felt great. I was getting stronger. I look the best that I've ever looked in my life. I mean, I'm a little chubbier than I prefer to be. Like I said, I'm currently cutting. But I look and feel great. That's just 1 heavy set. 2 days a week. Sometimes not even 2 days a week. Sometimes it's only 1 day a week. Sometimes, the whole idea behind the Mentzer method is to wait until you feel fully recovered before you go in. And that could be several days later. And the workout only takes 30 minutes. If I'm moving fast and people aren't trying to talk to me and all the the moms aren't hitting on me at the gym, that's a real problem. The mom's hitting on me. Oh, I'm popular with them. But that's not even to say that everybody should be doing Menser Method. This isn't a Menser Method video. I'm not trying to convince everybody to do that. That is just an example of you don't have to do these long, high volume workouts to get results. And that's what I said to her. I told her, I told Amy that, I'm only working out at most. I'm only doing 2 strength training sessions. It's not accurate to say I'm only working out 2 days a week because I also have my boxing sessions, but I'll only do 1 or 2 of those a week as well. And that's more of a cardio session. That's my cardio is the boxing. So I'm only doing 2 strength training sessions a week. 30 minutes, 5 to 6 exercises. And she was surprised by that. Because of course she was, because everybody thinks that in order to get incredible results, you just need to keep doing more, pushing more, harder, more. More. We need to be prudent, be wise. If you feel like you got to listen to your body, as they say. Not the best advice, but in this case, that's actually not a bad thing to think about. What is your body telling you? Are you tired all the time? Are you feeling wrecked like Amy did after her workouts? You're doing too much. Pull back. A lot. Not just on the workouts themselves, on the amount of workouts that you do. Don't need to do 4 or 5 workouts a week. You could get by just fine on 2 or 3. You don't need to do 10 to 12 exercises per workout. You could get by just fine on, 3 is a little extreme. That's pretty minimalist, but you could easily get by on 5 or 6, again, just as long as you're hitting those major muscle groups, the legs, the back, the chest. And then of course, you've got your more accessory type exercises. Here's one important point that I told her. This is important. If you are going to start, guy just drove by in a suspicious white van. I wonder if he has candy. If you are going to start deleting exercises, it's important that you delete the right ones. Keep the big compound exercises, the big multi-joint movements. All right. The squats, the deadlifts, the rows or pull-ups, whatever, the bench press. If you're going to start deleting exercises, which many people should, you start with the small accessory exercises, the bicep curls, the leg curls or the leg extensions, the ab exercises. You don't need 3 or 4 ab exercises. You don't need 3 or 4 core exercises at the end of your workout. Most likely you don't. I'll never say never. I try not to, a Sith Lord doesn't deal in absolutes. I try not to make absolute statements because there's always a place for everything. For most people, you don't need all those ab exercises at the end. You might not need any, actually. Again, if you're, I already said that, so I won't repeat myself, but 5 to 6 exercises, emphasize the big lifts, emphasize getting stronger each workout. So don't judge your workout by how tired you are afterwards or how sore it made you the next day, because you get that too, the people who are chasing the sore, and I've been that. I've chased the sore. It's easy to catch. Just do something different or just do it to an insane level and you will be sore the next day. It's actually not hard to make yourself sore. It's a terrible gauge of whether you're actually making progress. Gauge your progress by if you're getting stronger and if you feel good outside the gym. That's it. That's all I've got for that. Here at American Fitnocrat, I'm not here just to make you stronger. I'm here to make you a little smarter. And we're doing our governmental series right now. I'm teaching you about the government or just giving you little tidbits about how our government works, because if you are not smarter than the average voter, you probably shouldn't be voting. So answer me this. What are the jobs of the executive branch? Name just one. Can you name one thing that the executive branch does? Can you tell me who is the head of the executive branch? What is the executive branch? We're going to touch on it briefly today because it is supposed to be short. The executive branch, that's the president of the United States. He's the commander in chief. The executive branch enforces the laws that the legislative branch passes, writes up and passes. You ever wonder who's actually making us do the things that the law says? Because here's how our federal government's supposed to work. This is the three branches thing. They're all, there's the legislative, the judicial, the executive, and they're all supposed to be checking each other. Now, with the legislative branch, they write up laws and they get them passed. But then what? Who actually makes those laws happen? Case in point, let's say Congress and House of Representatives, Congress, they pass a tax increase because they love taxing us. I don't know why. I don't know why we just take that. That's one of my big gripes is the horrific amount of taxes that we have. But they tax us a lot. Well, how do they make sure that we actually pay those taxes that they have put upon us? Who does that? Well, the IRS does it. And where does the IRS fall? Under the executive branch. The IRS is a federal bureaucracy. It's a federal thing. So that's just one example. That's the executive branch. Let's see. The president is also the commander-in-chief of our armed forces, not the master chief, like I said before, nor the master and commander. He is the commander-in-chief. By the way, that's also why if you want to be president, it should be a requirement that you've served in the military. That's a different discussion, though. The president or the executive branch, the president specifically, can make treaties with other countries. Now, that requires 2/3 of Congress to approve that treaty. So that's part of those checks and balances. The president can grant pardons, at least for federal crimes, not for other crimes, but crimes that fall under federal law. The president can grant pardons for those. He can veto legislation. So let's say Congress passes a bill that he doesn't like. He can veto it. But the veto can be overridden with 2/3 of a vote from Congress. So again, back to that checks and balances thing. The president talks to other people's presidents of different countries or ambassadors, conducts diplomacy. The president is basically, he's the guy. Remember when you were in school and you had a group project and then somebody had to present the group project and the teacher said, all right, pick someone from your group to come up and actually say what you did. And everybody points to usually the guy who did most of the actual work. And then he gets to get up and tell everybody what you did and about your proof. That's the president. He's the guy that we all point at and say, you go represent us. Makes sense since he is the head of our government. So that's just a little bit on the executive branch. Remember, executive, judicial, legislative. That's all I have to say about that. I'm Dan Adams. Go forth, my fitnocrats.